The Sele Emperor Pixis barked out a gut-shaking laugh as his mandibles clicked, mocking the pathetic human military and dismissing their demands as the ravings of insignificant pests soon to be crushed under the might of the glorious Sele Armada. But the overconfident insectoids were unaware that humanity had a secret fleet hidden away that could obliterate their galactic empire and wipe the smug smiles off their carapaces. "You dare demand concessions from us? Your species is but a fledgling on the galactic stage, your military might laughable compared to the glory of the Sele Armada." Emperor Pixis sneered down at the human diplomat from his towering throne, compound eyes narrowing to menacing slits. His gleaming purple carapace shimmered under the harsh lights of the grandiose council chamber as he leaned forward, ready to skewer the impudent mammal with a verbal evisceration. But Joshua Wilson, grizzled war veteran turned Earth's envoy, refused to be cowed. He stood defiant, an immovable boulder before the posturing alien mantis. Unflinching under the Emperor's withering glare, he fired back. "Don't underestimate humanity, Your Majesty. We may be new to the galactic community, but we have faced challenges and overcome odds that would break lesser species. Push us at your own peril." The Emperor's antennae twitched with annoyance. Who was this puny creature to speak with such insolence? His serrated forelegs clenched, itching to put the human in its rightful place, groveling on the floor. "You have 3 rotations to withdraw your demands and submit to our rule or face the consequences," Pixis spat, voice dripping with venom and menace. "The Sele Empire has crushed far greater foes than your pitiful kind. We can snuff out your civilization with a single command. I suggest you scurry back to your planet and spread the word. Humanity's only hope is in total, groveling capitulation to the Sele hegemony." But Joshua simply smiled, a tight, grim expression that never reached his eyes. He had an ace up his sleeve the Sele couldn't fathom. Squaring his shoulders, the unbreakable human spoke words that would set the galaxy ablaze. "We will not back down. Humanity stands ready to defend our sovereignty and our allies. If you choose the path of war, you will regret it." With that, he turned on his heel and strode from the council chamber, leaving a seething emperor and his sycophantic advisers to stew in their arrogance. They thought they held all the cards, that humanity would fold under the slightest pressure. They had no idea of the storm to come. They didn't know that even now, a secret fleet of humanity's most formidable warships gathered in hidden space docks, crewed by dauntless warriors armed with advanced weaponry the Sele couldn't even imagine. But they would learn. The Sele would soon discover how badly they had underestimated the indomitable human spirit. Humanity had a secret fleet, and it was ready to strike at a moment's notice should the Sele follow through with their threats. By the time the insectoid empire realized its fatal mistake, it would already be far too late. As Joshua boarded his shuttle, returning to an Earth locking arms for war, he knew the survival of humanity, of freedom itself, hung in the balance. The secret fleet was their last resort, a gamble that would either see mankind's rightful ascension to galactic prominence or consign them to eternal slavery under Sele rule. He prayed it would not come to that as the shuttle lifted off, headed for home. But if it did, humanity would be ready. For they knew a truth the arrogant Sele had yet to learn. When pushed to the brink, with all that they hold dear threatened, humans would always find a way to win, no matter the odds. The Sele had laughed at the human military, but they wouldn't be laughing when the wolves of terror brought the full might of their secret armada to the Sele's doorstep. Let the galaxy beware. Mankind was about to show the cosmos what true power looked like. The shuttle's engines roared as it descended through Earth's atmosphere, carrying Joshua back to humanity's last bastion of hope, the secret underground base housing their hidden fleet. As soon as the craft touched down, Joshua raced through the labyrinthine corridors, his heart pounding in his chest. He burst into the command center, where Admiral Mikhail Petrov stood tall, his piercing blue eyes fixed on the holographic displays surrounding him. "Admiral, the Sele have rejected our demands. They're preparing for war," Joshua reported, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Petrov nodded, his stern face etched with grim determination. Our stealth frigates have been monitoring their communications. They're mobilizing their forces, preparing to strike at our colonies in Alpha Centauri. Joshua clenched his fists, the weight of the moment settling on his shoulders. We knew this day would come. Is the fleet ready? The Admiral gestured for Joshua to follow, leading him deeper into the command center. The room hummed with activity, officers and technicians working in perfect synergy. Petrov pointed to the holographic displays, showcasing the might of humanity's secret armada. Our ships are armed and ready, outfitted with the latest in stealth technology and directed energy weapons. The Selay won't know what hit them, Petrov declared, his voice filled with unwavering confidence. As they pored over the tactical data, strategizing their next move, an alarm blared throughout the base. Lieutenant Hiroshi Nakamura, a young officer with a sharp mind and quick reflexes, shouted from his console. Sir, incoming transmission from our deep space monitoring array. The Selay have launched their attack. Admiral Petrov sprang into action, his voice booming across the command center. Battle stations, prepare to deploy the fleet. Lieutenant Nakamura patched the transmission through to the main screen. The screen flickered to life, revealing a sight that sent a chill down Joshua's spine. A massive Selay armada, their ships bristling with weapons, dropped out of hyperspace near Alpha Centauri. The Selay had made their move, and now it was humanity's turn to respond. Joshua and Admiral Petrov exchanged a determined look, a silent understanding passing between them. They knew what was at stake, the fate of humanity resting on their shoulders. It's time to show the galaxy what we're capable of, Joshua declared, his voice filled with unwavering resolve. Let's bring our people home. With a nod, Admiral Petrov turned to his crew, his orders crisp and precise. Initiate jump sequence, we're going in. The secret human fleet, a product of years of clandestine research and development, thrummed with power as the jump drives engaged. In a brilliant flash of light, the ships leaped into hyperspace, racing towards Alpha Centauri and the waiting Selay armada. As the stars streaked past the viewports, Joshua stood beside Admiral Petrov, their gazes fixed on the battles to come. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, that the very survival of humanity hung in the balance. But they also knew that the human spirit was indomitable, that when pushed to the brink, they would rise to the challenge and fight with every ounce of their being. The Selay had underestimated them, and now they would pay the price. The secret fleet hurtled through hyperspace, ready to face the Selay head-on and defend humanity's rightful place among the stars. The time for hiding was over. Now it was time for humanity to show the galaxy what true power looked like. The secret human fleet burst out of hyperspace in a blinding flash of Cherenkov radiation. Before the sleek ships could orient themselves, the Selay armada unleashed a hellfire of plasma bolts. Admiral Petrov, standing tall on the bridge of the Prometheus, barely flinched as the ship shuddered under the impact. The advanced deflector shields held, dissipating the superheated energy. Petrov slammed a fist on the tactical display. All ships, execute Epsilon formation and engage cloaking devices. Target their command ships and weapons arrays. The human ships scattered like a flock of agile birds. One moment they were there, absorbing the brunt of the Selay assault. The next, they shimmered out of existence as the cloaking field enveloped them. Where did they go? A Selay gunnery officer chittered in confusion, mandibles twitching. Sensors show nothing. The Selay fired blindly, plasma lancing through empty space. Then the human fleet struck back. Lances of blinding light skewered Selay ships from impossible angles. The directed energy weapons, products of bleeding-edge human ingenuity, sliced through the insectoid shields like a scalpel. Armor shattered, hull plating vaporized, atmosphere vented in gouts of flame as the beams severed power conduits and ruptured reactor cores. Amid the chaos, Joshua led Dagger Squadron in a daring attack run on the Selay flagship. His state-of-the-art scimitar fighter danced through the storm of flak and plasma, anti-grav engines screaming. The rest of Dagger Squadron stuck to his wings, flying in perfect formation. "Target their bridge and main battery," Joshua commanded, his voice steely calm over the comm. "Fire antimatter torpedoes on my mark." They wove through the point defense fire, the Sele gunners desperately trying to track the nimble human craft. Joshua's targeting computer locked onto the massive flagship, a red diamond blinking over its armored command tower. "Mark!" A volley of antimatter warheads streaked from the human fighters, leaving ghostly contrails as they homed in on the Sele ship. They punched through weakened shields and buried themselves deep in the hull before detonating. The flagship's bridge vanished in a miniature sun, an eruption of light, heat, and radiation. Explosions rippled down its flanks as the generators went critical, belching flame. The once proud vessel listed drunkenly, belching smoke and debris. On the dying flagship's auxiliary bridge, a badly wounded Emperor Pixis dragged himself to the comms station. His carapace was cracked, ichor leaking from a dozen shrapnel wounds. The ship shook itself apart around him. "All ships, fall back," he rasped into the transmitter. "Retreat and regroup at the Zathex rally point. We cannot win this." As the battered Sele ships limped away, the human fleet pressed the attack, disabling and capturing as many as they could. It was a total rout, a victory that would be forever etched into the annals of human history. On the bridge of the Prometheus, Admiral Petrov allowed himself a small smile as he watched the Sele flee. Joshua's voice crackled over the comm as he landed his scimitar in the hangar bay. "The Sele are in full retreat, Admiral. Alpha Centauri is secure." "Well done, Joshua," Petrov replied. "But this is only the beginning. We've bloodied their nose, but the Sele will be back, and we'll be ready for them." A transmission from Earth interrupted any further conversation. "Admiral Petrov, this is Earth Command. Reinforcements are on their way. The full might of humanity. As of this moment, we are officially at war with the Sele Empire." Petrov nodded grimly. "Understood, Earth Command. We'll hold the line until reinforcements arrive. Humanity will prevail. Prometheus out." As the communication ended, Joshua stepped onto the bridge, his flight helmet tucked under one arm. His eyes met Petrov's, a look of determination and pride passing between them. Around them, the crew of the Prometheus cheered, a roar of triumph echoing through the ship. Humanity had drawn its first blood against the arrogant Sele, and the galaxy would never be the same. The road ahead would be long and hard, filled with sacrifice and sorrow. But in this moment Joshua and his fellow humans could hold their heads high, knowing they had proven their worth among the stars. The secret was out, and the Terran Union was a force to be reckoned with. In the wake of their stunning victory over the Sele Armada, the human fleet set to work repairing the damage and fortifying their position in the Alpha Centauri system. Joshua, newly promoted to captain in recognition of his valor and leadership, oversaw the integration of captured Sele technology into the human ships. The advanced shielding, weapons, and propulsion systems would give humanity a critical edge in the battles to come. But even as the fleet grew stronger, trouble brewed on the frontier. Reports flooded in of Sele insurgents, fanatically loyal to the deposed Emperor Pixis, launching brutal guerrilla attacks on human colonies. The images of burning settlements and wounded civilians haunted Joshua's dreams. He stood before Admiral Petrov, his jaw set with grim purpose. "Sir, I volunteer to lead a special task force to hunt down these insurgents. We can't let them terrorize our people any longer." Petrov nodded, his eyes hard as flint. "Agreed. Assemble your team, Captain. Bring these terrorists to justice." Joshua gathered a hand-picked squad of elite soldiers and set out into the lawless reaches of space. They struck hard and fast, hitting Sele hideouts and supply caches, always one step ahead of their foe. But as they pressed deeper, a chilling pattern emerged. "Sir, look at this," Lieutenant Nakamura said, pointing to a holographic map. "The insurgents' weapons, their tactics, they're too well coordinated. Someone's backing them." Joshua's blood ran cold as the pieces fell into place. A rogue faction in the Galactic Council. They're using the Soleil to undermine us, to keep humanity in check. The battles grew fiercer, the enemy more ruthless. Joshua's team took heavy losses, each death a raw wound on his soul. But they pushed on, driven by righteous fury and unbreakable resolve. Their quest led them to an uncharted nebula, a swirling vortex of gas and dust. Hidden within lay a massive space station, a fortress of black metal and bristling gun turrets, the lair of the shadowy cabal. "This is it," Joshua said, his grip tight on the helm. "We go in hard, fast, and hit them with everything we've got. For Earth, for the fallen." The assault was a hellstorm of fire and blood. Joshua's ship shuddered under the onslaught, consoles exploding in showers of sparks. Beside him, Nakamura fought with the fury of a demon, blasting apart enemy fighters with uncanny precision. They carved a path to the station's heart, a phalanx of grim-faced warriors against a tide of foes. In the final charge, Joshua led the breach, storming through the shattered airlock with gun blazing and blade flashing. The battle raged through the station's corridors, a close-quarters nightmare of smoke and screams. One by one, Joshua's comrades fell, buying victory with their lives. Nakamura, mortally wounded, collapsed into Joshua's arms. "Finish it, sir," he gasped, blood bubbling from his lips. "For all of us." With a final anguished roar, Joshua rallied his remaining troops and smashed into the Cabal's command center. In a brief, brutal fight, they subdued the rogue leaders, the puppet masters behind the insurgency. As the station burned around them, Joshua gathered his fallen friends, bearing them back to the ship with silent tears. The battle was won, but the cost had been too high. Returning to Earth, Joshua found himself hailed as a hero, but the accolades tasted like ashes. The Cabal had been defeated, but their machinations had opened Joshua's eyes to the true nature of the conflict. Humanity had outgrown its underdog status, and now faced the consequences of its ascension. The war with the Soleil was over, but as Joshua looked to the stars, he knew that the real struggle, the battle for humanity's soul and its place in the cosmos, had only just begun. You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.